Hey everybody, welcome to PDQ Live. Today we're going to talk about SmartDeploy Under the Hood.
How does it work? Yeah. Why does it work? Let's find out.
Let's poke it with a sharp stick, see if it does something.
Yeah.
Yeah, today we have a couple special guests with us here today. Mm-hmm. We have Ed and Jeff, both SmartDeploy experts, who are going to help us as we dive through Under the Hood. Mm-hmm. So why don't we get going and get started, shall we?
Yeah, let's introduce them though, should we?
Yeah.
So
let's have them speak. Hang on one second. I was going to put them on speaker view, but there we go. All right.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
Hey guys, do you want to introduce yourselves? Ed, why don't you start? Or Jeff, why don't you start?
Yeah, I could start. My name is Jeff Coleman. I'm a technical sales engineer here at SmartDeploy.
Hi, I'm Ed, and I'm a systems engineer with SmartDeploy. Been with the team for almost 10 years now.
Ooh, that's a long time. So we've got the two guys here that can really help us understand how this thing ticks.
So should we start kind of at the beginning though? Let's talk about like imaging at its basis, like how has it changed? What makes SmartDeploy unique? And just kind of start from there.
Yeah, maybe set the stage, talk about some terms, so that as we go through the rest of this, we're on the same page.
So basic imaging used to be, what did it used to be?
I think that was like a sector based or like a clone.
Yeah. Right.
So you'd be like the olden days of spinning disks. You'd say like this cylinder head is this bit. I'm going to take it on this disk and put it to the next one.
Yeah.
We evolve as humans, and we move to file based imaging. So on that file-based imaging, Jeff, can you kind of run us through what is the difference? What does this file-based instead of sector-based allow us to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So the difference between it is sector-based would be taking all of the data from a drive, picking it up, and putting it on another system. So everything comes with it and exactly where it's at. Whereas file-based, it's going to pull individual files. It's going to remove a lot of redundancies. This allows us to be a little bit more granular, a little bit more customizable with the way that we deploy images. And it allows us to put in drivers and really change things around.
Gotcha. So this allows for a whole lot more flexibility than something like a Clonezilla or a Ghost. And the flexibility comes in the fact that we can separate OS image from drivers, from applications, and kind of layer them in however we want, kind of mix and match, right?
Well, that's what kind of makes it special, though. So I reached out to our PDQ Discord server and I said, what do you guys use? Because I really want to hear what they use and what are some of the problems. And a lot of people actually do still use Ghost. Ghost was a popular one, but it doesn't have drivers. So it doesn't have that flexibility. It doesn't have platform packs. It doesn't have the things that we have, the application packs. So, Jeff, can you just kind of tell us why is that different? Why is it special? And how does it work within the product?
Yeah, and you just gave a new term we need to define, a platform pack.
Oh yeah, what is that? What's a platform pack? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So with file-based systems, we look at it, we grab only, the important files, software, things like that, compile it in there, and then we use our platform packs, which are our make and model specific driver packages that we manage, we update, we put in there upon request. You can also build your own, you can change those. And this just really allows us to be able to take an image from a virtual machine that is hardware independent and put it on any device and just be able to load into our PE environment, see what the machine is, look at our platform packs, all available to download once you sign up for SmartDeploy. Those will apply to the drivers. You can include as many as you want. SmartDeploy is going to figure out the make and the model of the machine based on the filters of those packs.
So let me just get some clarification because I think this is kind of confusing to people, and I already see a question. So I'm just going to queue it up now to Jeff and or Ed so they can answer. So some other traditional imaging solutions, you would make one image for each type of laptop that you have, right? Because you need the drivers for each laptop, right? But SmartDeploy is a little bit different. And the platform packs you can make one image and then inject the drivers using the answer file. So you just need the one image, and then you make your answer file and you attach the platform pack. So, Jeff, can you elaborate a little bit? Because I already see a question. This is kind of confusing to people. Can you just talk us through that just a little bit about how that works exactly?
And maybe why you use a virtual machine, because that's something that's a little bit different than a traditional imaging solution. Like, why are you using a virtual machine to capture a reference or a golden image?
Yeah, and why do I just need one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. With sector base, we would be taking a device, taking everything from it, and drivers included. That's why we use virtual machines and we use the file base, is because a virtual machine doesn't have native drivers that's running. It's running everything through the server or the workstation that you're using. So when we capture it, those drivers aren't included. So that way we can take that image, put it on another one, compile it with our driver packs, our platform packs, inject everything we need in the PE to get the deployments rolling. And then, during the actual imaging, we can do BIOS updates, chipset, video drivers, network drivers, everything that we need to get it to that specific machine. And that way you don't have to manage multiple images. You don't have to set up a workstation, capture it, move it to another one, and then switch around. You can make one deployment, many platform packs as you want, with one that singular virtual machine image that is just independent of all that stuff.
But Jeff, let's just talk about that for a second. The platform packs include the BIOS, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I think that's confusing to people. So I'm going to include the BIOS updates too. So I can push a BIOS update whenever I want. So that's kind of a cool feature.
That's a really cool feature. And Jeff, you mentioned something else, and I think we're going to go a little out of order here. We keep bringing up this a term of PE or smart PE.
Yes.
Or what is smart PE? Like, Ed, can you explain to us, like, what is this smart PE? What is WinPE? What is a pre-execution environment in general?
Yeah, so WinPE is Windows pre-environment, pre-execution environment. It's basically a lightweight OS that gets installed into your RAM, and basically allows the disk to be free to be edited. So, if you were to try and make changes to a disk while Windows was running off of that disk itself, you would get a lot of roadblocks. So that's why we need something like PE to exist. Smart PE is our own layer on top of Windows PE. We have our own shell that we have a deployment wizard that will take care of the imaging steps for you.
Gotcha.
So Smart PE is just basically SmartDeploy's version of WinPE, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's got all of our processes and code in it. Yeah. And
how does SmartDeploy interact with the answer file? What's the connection between those two?
Yeah, we've also talked about the answer file. So what? So you get into. I want to set this up as we were preparing for this. Ed, you said something that is just stuck in my head. That the entire goal, like once you've got your image and your answer file ready, the entire goal is to get everything into Smart PE. Like all of these other methods we're going to talk about later are just a means to an end. So it's really about getting to Smart PE. So we're in this Smart PE execution environment, and then it has an answer file. And we've talked about this over and over. So Ed, walk us through, what is this answer file and how do I create it using SmartDeploy? Because it's really cool.
Yeah, so the answer file is created through a wizard that you would launch from the console. It will tell Smart PE's deploy wizard where to grab the image, whether it be local or from a cloud source. There are 4 different types of cloud storage that we support. It will give a path to a folder with all your platform packs in it so that we can scan all of them and find the correct one to use automatically for the device that you are imaging. You can stage applications in it, run tasks. You could even kick off a user state migration to capture data off of the device that you're imaging before you do any image deployment. You could have it install the client, join domain, rename the computer, lots of various settings. Well,
let's go back though. So we're talking about Smart PE, but can you go back? Because I actually asked this question, but I want you to kind of dive a little bit deeper into this, Ed, can you tell us about the cloud broker service? Because I actually think this might be my favorite thing about SmartDeploy, because it's kind of ingenious.
Yeah.
Tell us how you set it up.
This is actually, it may be hard. I'll kind of, I guess, what's the word? Really like toot our own horn here. SmartDeploy was the first company to be able to take this traditional on-prem heavy deployment, like image deployment, and take it to the cloud, right?
Yeah.
I hate saying the cloud, but it's ubiquitous. So we brought it here, and so it sets up this ability to re-image a device anywhere, as long as it has an internet connection.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. Like, I don't have to get a USB there. I don't have to have Pixie, all of these traditional LAN-based protocols.
Yeah.
I can image it anywhere. So, like, Ed, walk us through how that works, right? Like, I know there's a database local. I know there's a mirrored database. But how does this magic work behind the scenes? So me as a user of this product, I can just click deploy and not have to worry about where the device is.
Yeah, so it all starts with the SmartDeploy client. It has the capability of communicating both directly to a local database, either through a local connection or through cloud. If we're going through cloud, we have a cloud API service with a cloud database, and your local database will sync with the cloud periodically. So that's how the data from a client gets to the cloud database, and then is synced down to your local database. Then it pops up in your console. The way that you would initiate image deployments is by creating a message, what we call a message. So it's basically a short set of instructions that the client knows how to consume. So let's talk cloud, for example. So let's say you created a cloud deployment. The console would then push up our cloud message into the cloud database, and the clients will check for messages on an interval. I believe it's about 5 minutes. It will check the cloud database, see that message. It will read that message. That message should contain a refresh token to auth with your cloud service, with the cloud service provider, and then a path to a file, which would be the SmartPE boot WIM. So that would be the deployment package that you create with Media Wizard. It will download that SmartPE boot WIM to your device, reset the BCD to then boot from that, and then reboot the machine. And then once it loads back up, the BCD will boot into SmartPE, and then the answer file that was contained within that deployment package will then kick off the rest of it for you.
Gotcha. So this is really cool. Like, what's actually like happening on disk, jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, is just we send these instructions and we load everything into memory and wipe the disk. So there is a point here where you've hit this point of no return, because I've booted into this SmartPE and I have the image, and then I have to wipe the disk, and it's remote.
Yeah.
Right. So there is a little like possibility of stuff going wrong, but just the ability, of like, hey, user has a problem at home. I don't want to have them come to the office. I don't want to cross ship laptops. I can just click, just start over and have it work, is so cool to me.
Yeah. Well, and you're specifying where you want it to save the data. Like if you're doing a user migration, which you can with SmartDeploy. By the way, I have strong feelings about this, but I'm going to shut my mouth. You can specify that you want to save it to whatever cloud storage you have specified, and SmartDeploy is going to leverage USMT. So you can do it that way.
Yeah. So not only can I reimage it, I can take all of their like user specific data and like bundle it up and keep it for them.
You can. And then it's going to it puts it back. So
That's so cool.
Ed, do you want to talk about that quickly and just how it does the USMT?
Yeah, we utilize Microsoft's user migration tool, user state migration tool, and we just use the default scripts that come with it. But yeah, the way that it works with SmartDeploy is you could either capture it will capture to a migration file. You could either do a specific user state migration command from the console just to capture the user state, or if you do it as part of a deployment, we will you'll boot in the SmartPE, we'll scan the drive, capture to a migration file. We'll have to store that file somewhere. It's typically either, if it's local, we could do a local connection back to the console. or we could even store that migration file in the cloud. Then we wipe the disk, put the image on, then we'll download the migration file back to the device. And then when Windows boots back up and our client restarts, it will know to run a USMT load state off of that migration file and then put your files back into place.
It's so slick.
It's magic.
It is. It's really quick too, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting a lot of questions, Kelly. Do you want to do those now or you want to wait?
Yeah, let's do a few. Why don't we?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
Okay, first one. What are some ways in which the capabilities of this product can be similar to MDT, and what are some ways it is different? Raymond?
I think this is a perfect one. I'm going to put you on the spot, but Jeff, I think this is a question for you. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the direct comparisons with MDT, I believe that you have to pull the drivers and build those packs for those deployments. And Ed, correct me if I'm missing anything. I think it still utilizes WIM files and kind of the same kind of deployment techniques, kind of based off of the same build. But we've definitely wanted to streamline the process and make it just a lot easier. So a lot of our processes are wizard driven. We use those reference machines to build the image instead of, building it through, having to really customize an answer file, go through the XML, do that. Everything is just made to just be as simple as possible. And I think that's kind of the biggest difference between, how we work and how MDT or other products work.
Yeah, I think I'll add to that also, like MDT is this LAN-based tech. Like you have to be on the same network. You're not going to image something
there's
over
no
the
remote.
internet.
Yeah.
So we're full remote capable with SmartDeploy, and there's multiple methods here to get into SmartPE. Remember, like that's the goal, is to get into SmartPE. We've got like a USB, we've got this agent. Sure, you can still use traditional Pixie, like MDT with its WDS underlayer. So
We haven't even gone there yet.
We haven't even gone there. We'll go
Yeah.
there. But there's so much more on top of this than just strictly Pixie booting a machine to get an image there.
Can I point out that MDT is end of life, just for fun?
There is that.
I mean, okay. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, continue.
Looks like somebody got bingo.
Bingo. Andrew, did he get bingo?
Authenticating.
Hooray. Bingo it is.
All right, there you go. There's one other question. Do you want to get to one more before we move on?
Sure. Why not?
All right. Can we schedule driver/Windows updates to install in the background and have it prompt the user to reboot instead of prompting the user to install and them not doing so? Just Rob.
I'm going to let Jeff answer, but yes, but
All
why
right.
would you tell the user to do it? Just don't let the user be involved. But Jeff, go ahead.
I can take this one, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's let Ed get some points.
Yeah. So the patch management feature is a work in progress, and we are open to any and all suggestions in that. So it's real basic right now. The next thing that we're adding is the ability to install individual updates that you can see. And the ultimate goal towards the end is to kind of be like a WSUS replacement, and we take over the entire update stack. So with that, the idea of scheduling them and automatic rebooting should come with that. But yes, it is a work in progress, and yeah, if you wanted to submit feedback on that, I believe we have an email feedback at smartdeploy.com.
Cool. Alrighty then. So we started to touch on this, but let's talk about the different ways that are available to get into SmartPE. Because once we're in SmartPE, the rest of the magic happens. So
Yeah.
this is the real hurdle, is getting to that point. So I don't know, Ed, if you want to take us through, what are the different ways of getting into SmartPE? What are the different methods available to us? And maybe let's save this WDS part for the end.
Okay.
So what are the other ones?
Okay. Yeah. So we briefly touched on the client. So through computer management, you install a client on your endpoint devices, and they will populate themselves in the computer management section in your console. And then you would, in the media wizard, you would create a deployment package, which can be either local or cloud. And in computer management, you would send a deployment package to your client. So that takes care of a local network deployment, and then a cloud deployment. The other way is just your traditional. You can create a USB key. Could even burn DVDs. I know we have some.
Is that still a thing?
You can.
There are some government divisions that are slow to adopt new technology that will not move off of DVD, so we have to keep it there.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah. You could even create your own ISO of the of SmartPE and create your own USB keys if you'd rather do it that way. And the last way really is to create a Pixie boot WIM.
Gotcha. So there's so many ways.
It really just depends on what your environment. What are you doing? Like, what are you comfortable with now? I think is the answer, right?
And I think there's like an idea here. It's like you can use other tools like Connect or PDQ Deploy, get that agent out there, and then you have this management back and forth, and we've got this whole life cycle kind of covered to get that agent route. But let's talk about a common use case that is like a mass deployment, right? I just got 50 laptops from Lenovo, Dell, insert your favorite manufacturer of choice here. It's kind of a lot of work to get those from a default manufacturer image to getting the agent on there. And it's also a ton of work to get a USB key or, heaven forbid, a DVD in each of these as well. So let's talk about this WDS integration.
I hear Pixie booting coming.
And we can talk about Pixie booting, right?
Yep.
Like we've alluded to it, like we can get to the smartpe.wim and serve it up with WDS. So Ed, walk us through what that kind of looks like from that use case of I've got a pile of 50, 100, 150 laptops that I need to image quickly. What does that look like?
Yeah, so if you have WDS already configured on your network, we can use Pixie to network boot these devices by hitting, usually it's like F12 to get into a special boot menu or network boot a device. But with SmartDeploy, you go through the media wizard. There's an option to create a Pixie boot image. You would then, that is a boot image of SmartPE. So then you take that boot image, put it on your WDS server, and then import it into your boot images section. And it will end up in the list of available boot images that are that can be selected for network boot over Pixie.
Gotcha. So WDS in this case isn't actually going to do any imaging per se. It is just serving that TFTP boot image. Because remember, the goal is get everything into SmartPE.
Yeah.
So that's how that kind of common use case would work out.
Yeah, if you already have one set up, it's just maybe easier that way. Just Rob says he uses Rufus, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, use Rufus, get yourself a bootable USB, and boom, we're into SmartPE, and SmartDeploy can take over from there.
I like that Tim says he can't confirm or deny that government is slow. Oh, Tim, that is so cute. Oh my God, that's adorable.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, another use case of that using Rufus with an ISO is some of our customers, they want to do USB deployments, but let's say that your console's in a remote location and you have remote tech somewhere else. You could upload your ISO to a file share somewhere, and then instruct your techs to download this ISO and use something like Rufus to create that bootable USB off of that. Then they could SmartPE.
Gotcha. So there's like so many ways to do this. Like so many tools at your disposal, like to get into this SmartPE land. Like that's what we're trying to do here.
I guess it really just depends on how fast your network connection is. The console initiative deployment is so easy, but our network's really fast. So yeah, I guess it just depends on your environment.
Yeah. A bunch of different ways to do it.
Kayla, do we have more questions? I see a lot of questions coming up.
Well, there's a couple, 2 or 3.
I like these. Let's give them questions.
Let's give you one, shall we? Can we use a OneDrive cloud drive that's based on a group/team instead of an individual user's personal OneDrive? Just Rob.
Who wants that?
I can take that one.
Okay.
We're not configured to use a group or team at the moment, we are limited to using a individual account. So we would recommend against it being a personal account, but if there's a way that you could set up, kind of a service account that is shareable between people, that would be the preferred way to go on that.
Gotcha.
All right. We have another one if you'd like.
I would
sure.
like.
Okay,
I would
this is called the Just Rob Show. Do you have a KB on how to set up a Pixie Boot server and do the boot to SmartPE that way?
So I did include one, Kelly, in the outline. If you want to pull it up, we can share it in there. Glenn wrote one.
That's a really good article too.
It is a good article, and there's a few that we can include that are pretty slick, actually. So there's quite a few really nice articles on the SmartDeploy page, on the solutions page, not on the blog. If you go to solutions, there's some really nice stuff on there.
Nice.
But there's one in particular to that.
Cool. What else you got, Kelly? Anything else?
I've got more from Just Rob.
Yeah, Just Rob, let's go, man.
This is more of a feature request.
Those are my favorite.
Which,
Ed will be excited.
When will you fix platform packs so that you can download more than one at a time without them failing and being lost completely? I put in multiple tickets, never get an answer. He's feeling bad. Give him a hug.
Yeah,
Just
come on,
Rob.
Ed. Get it together.
Come on.
Yeah. So we're looking at fixing the update part of that. So we had a bug where if you right click to update a platform pack and then that download fails, that pack got deleted. Right now we haven't had this issue until recently. It has something to do with our CDN, and we're currently looking at that right now. But yeah, we hopefully we have that fix coming in soon, and we're actively working on that update bug fix.
Cool. So it's almost like making software. You get bugs occasionally.
It's almost
right?
like it's hard, I guess.
Kind of hard.
Also, we need these people to come back on, so let's be nice to them, right?
Guys, be nice to Ed.
We want Ed to come back. Also, I just need to tell everyone listening that Kelly told me I'm fired unless we get more people liking and subscribing to YouTube. So hurry, go like and subscribe.
That's all it takes.
That's actually a lie.
I'm just saying.
But okay.
Yeah, hurry.
But still, like and subscribe. Why not?
No, in all reality, no. We appreciate the bug reports. It's what helps make software better, right? And we appreciate the engagement there. So yeah, so actually, really do keep those coming and let us know.
Why is Josh so nice? What? Also, is Ed on Discord? Inquiring minds want to know.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Does anyone know what that means?
I am connected to the Discord. I don't check it normally, but if you wanted to send me a message on there, I think I'm just on there as Ed C.
Ed C. Okay, Mike, I can tell Mike's age because he did a thumbs up. I recently learned that's bad.
It's
Did you know
not
that?
really. I don't believe it. And I'm
either.
not going to fall for it.
I don't either.
Yeah, I'm not buying into that either.
Yeah.
I did hear that though. So
All right. Well,
Anyway.
everybody, thanks for coming on this journey with us
Yes.
under the hood of SmartDeploy. As always, if you have additional questions, come into Discord. Love to help answer them there. For PDQ, I'm Josh.
I'm Tara. Let's go to the after party in Discord though.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Power Burner NL. I do believe you were the bingo winner, and if I'm mistaken, send me your info anyway, and I'll send you some stuff just because I'm nice like that. Again, thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you back here next week.